and I'm going to say a quick hello as well. Hey, guys, how you doing? Phil, how are you doing?
Hey, Christian, what's shaking, buddy? It's great to see you again.
Great to see you as well. Been traveling the last few weeks, but thanks for filling in for me, by the way.
I
I know
can be a
that's a little
fill
bit
for
lame, probably,
anybody. Absolutely.
but we've got a great show and a great guest this week. I was telling everybody earlier, she's one of my favorite guests to have on the show, just because of all the knowledge she brings, and just she's super smart. So we've got Jen Herman, Jen's Trends. Let me go ahead and bring Jen on, and just we'll kick things off.
Yeah, bring her on, buddy.
Hey, Jen, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing great.
Awesome. And we got a little helper tonight.
We do a little extra expert opinions.
Fantastic. So she picked, we'll do dealer's choice. We'll let her pick whatever she wants to talk about tonight. So.
Right? Any, mini, mine, no.
That's it. Yep. So what's up in San Diego, Jen?
It's cold. We're dying. It's like 68 degrees. Like the winter jacket's all busted out today. It's horrible.
Awesome. So do you have a set of UGG boots, or what do you wear when it gets this cold?
So I don't have any Uggs, but I did bust out the puffy winter jacket today. I had the faux fur vest on last night. So yeah, you would think that I was somewhere back east with my wardrobe, but it was sunny San Diego, and it was. But I have to admit, so where I work, it does actually get super cold in the mornings. It was 46 degrees when I went to work this morning. So it is cold at some point. But then it gets warm. It's back up in the 70s by the afternoon. So we survive. It's okay.
There you go. Well, it's all relative, right? Cold is relative. We had our one day of winter here in Tampa too. We had 59 for almost 4 hours. It was bad.
My God. That's like igloo. Don't leave the house. Turn the heaters on.
That's it. Absolutely.
People have to figure out how to turn the heat on, that once a year thing. So
all it does is blow out dust because it hasn't been used in a year.
Yep. And by the time it finally comes on, it's time to turn it off.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's right. Oh, I'm roasting. I'm freezing.
Yep. Exactly. So what about you, Christian? How's the weather where you're at, buddy?
It's I'd say it's in the 60s probably, but it has gotten cold actually.
Okay.
Most of the year, about 10 months out of the year, 9-10 months, extremely hot.
Yep.
So no winter clothes at all, and then here it drops to 70 and people are like, hey, let me bring out the heavy jacket, the sweaters, the toboggans, the scarves. Yeah. So
awesome.
Big change.
Awesome. There you go.
So,
cool, man. Cool.
So where do you want to start this week, by the way? We got just a lot. We got a lot of good topics. I know we're heading into Thanksgiving next week, but where do y'all want to start? Or you want to let Sabrina let her pick, Jen?
What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about Facebook or Snapchat? Do you care? She stopped caring. I think she's going to fall asleep hopefully soon. So awesome. So what do you want to talk about there, Miss Jen? Do you want to talk about, because we can put in one of the Snapchats or we can sneak in LinkedIn. It's really up to you. I want to talk about the Facebook portal because I'm kind of intrigued by this whole thing.
Awesome. Okay. Facebook portal. So now I can maybe get my dad on Facebook. This is pretty darn cool, right? I've got a device that looks like an iPad that's going to go in my dad's front room, right? So that's going to look like this.
So I've got it pulled up actually, Phil.
Yeah, you got it. Cool, man. So what the heck, right? So it's really fascinating to me that it's just Facebook, but it's interesting because they have to have a Facebook account in order to use it, which could be a bit of a challenge because unless they send me if they don't send me the portal, I mean, getting my dad to walk through setting up a Facebook account, I don't know, right? I don't know that's going to work. What do you think, Jen?
I mean, I think it's smart only because, it's a Facebook product and they want to, I don't care what they say in that privacy statement that they aren't listening and they aren't monitoring. Let's be real, people. It is listening to some capacity. And they're gathering information on your usage. They want to know how often you're using it, how often you're communicating, how long are you communicating, how long are you on video, all these different components. And the only way they can manage that and use that for the ads and the analytics and all of the long-term monetization plans is to have that data, which means you have to be a Facebook user. So I think it's one of those things that had this come out before the Amazon Echoes and Google Homes and everything, I think they could have, it might have been harder to adapt to people having to have a Facebook profile. But now that everyone's so used to having these things in our homes, Facebook can kind of set the ground rules and say, no, you have to have a Facebook profile to use our product, because there's enough other things out there that this is a normal capacity, but this is different than everything else, and it puts them apart.
Yeah. That's interesting.
See,
I worry about getting hacked, though. I got to tell you, that's my concern, right? On the account, because frankly, because it's not really on a mobile phone, how do you enable two-factor authentication?
Right.
That's my challenge, right? So again, I think about my dad. His password's going to be, Phil set this up 1, 2, 3. And
our password 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, right. Because he's going to want it easy to remember, and then somebody's going to know. So not only that, but he also has to have an email address. So now I've got like 3 or 4 accounts I've got to set up. If he wants Messenger, right? So Messenger technically is a different platform. So what the heck? I don't know. Christian, you were going to say something, buddy. What are you thinking?
I was going to say, this is not any different than having a mobile phone. Kind of to Jen's point. It's not any different than having a mobile phone. Apple, for instance, you have to log into an Apple account, an iTunes account, for instance, to be able to access your device and all of the features and unlock like iCloud and that sort of stuff. You've got Amazon. You've got Amazon as well. All that stuff is run through their servers. So it's not new. I think for me, the big things are, like you said, privacy is a huge concern with this. There's no way to enable two-factor authentication on this. And that would be really annoying, because the whole thing is you want to make it easy to use. And the ease of use is, hey, I turn it on, I log in my Facebook account, however that is, and I'm set up, and let it kind of do all the other stuff. So I think that's really important, unless it's going to use facial recognition, because it does have a camera that tracks you as a user. So unless it's going to start using, let me scan your.
Trying to get the facial recognition, like doing one of these, trying to get the thing to scan their face, like they're just gonna.
Yep, total. Well, and not to mention, one of these devices, to that point, right? Mom and dad are going to have a shared account, right? That's the challenge, or all the kids, and it's like, is it really going to log in? But I think the thing that we haven't talked about yet is, how does this affect retailers who now can provide real-time facial chat with a salesperson, right? If you're going shopping for some new sparkly blue glasses and you want to talk to the salesperson, now you have an opportunity to in real time say, hey, the blue ones are nice, but do you have them in green? Do you have them in pink? You got them in purple? I want them a little bigger. I want them a little smaller. I think that's really the killer application here, is the real-time conversation with the sales rep.
And I think that's where this goes in the future, is the augmented reality, where now you can be literally talking to a salesperson and trying on virtual glasses. So you actually see what they look like on your face using this, or, doing something where you're essentially trying on different outfits using this, because it's a large screen, right? It's like iPad size. So it's not like you're looking at this on your mobile device. This is something where, that personal shopping level is going to go exponentially into a whole new realm if we can incorporate any sort of that, augmented reality, which we obviously know Facebook is hugely researching and developing. So I can only imagine that will be integrated with this. But there's so many ways that you can think of that, not necessarily from a marketing standpoint, but from a business standpoint, that this could be integrated in terms of, team meetings, that for people who work remotely. This is something, like you said, coordinating and interacting with your customers, where, especially like, let's just be realistic right now with situations where all the snow and bad weather. Imagine a doctor being able to talk to his patient face to face without them having to come in the office and diagnose something, or say, it's okay, get this, to have this delivered from the local pharmacy. And there's so many ways you can see this changing how we interact with businesses.
Telemedicine, Jen, that's a great idea, right? Especially as it starts integrating with a Fitbit or with something else. That's a solid.
They do that now with iPad type services, right? Where you can chat virtual, or like essentially live, like we're doing now with doctors and things. But to have it on like a Facebook portal like this, where again, it's tracking you, so they can literally say, okay, walk 10 steps, and they can see how your limp is, or if you've got, something awkward happening, in that way where they want to see your movement. You can't do that with an iPad because you're holding it. This, you could literally walk. I mean, it could do so much in terms of how we currently communicate and do business. I can just see so many ways this can change things.
Awesome.
I love the idea of this. I mean, I think from a retail standpoint, it makes a lot of sense to be able to, handle customer service. You've got the whole doctor aspect already. That I think you could go to like an optometrist from your phone and have them, scan your eye. So I think that this makes a lot of sense. To me, the other thing, from a business perspective, the other thing though that I do have to wonder about on these is, it's getting to be a really crowded landscape, and these products are all just kind of coming out now. People who got into Kindle or into the into the Echo, for instance. Then you had Google come out. Then you have Apple come out with HomePod. Did Facebook miss the mark with the timing of this? Because, for example, I've already invested in another device. Am I going to go buy another device? These are all kind of pricey items.
I think that's because their device is so different. I don't think they missed the boat, because if it's just an iPad that sits on your counter, it's like everything else. I can have an iPad sitting on my counter and call it Thanksgiving dinner. But the fact that this one tracks movement, the fact that it's listening to the audio and it's picking up the person who's speaking louder than the other audio. So you're having that audio synchronicity that you are not going to get on any other device. It's got all this amazing technology built into it in a way that this is like the stepping stone up from the current Echoes and Google Homes and, the kind of iPad FaceTime that we're used to now. And then to see where the companies besides Facebook as well as Facebook take this to kind of that next level, because I really think we're still at such an entry level with this, but I don't miss the boat at all.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think they're right on time with this. It's right before the holidays. To your point, Jen, that you made earlier, right? People are already accepting of these devices.
Yeah.
These are smart, nobody's surprised that they're coming out with this, right? I'm actually shocked. I'd be surprised if Microsoft doesn't do something smart with this too, right? If they can, but Microsoft, they'll probably do it in 4 years. So, that's my challenge with them. But anyway, I really think that this is an opportunity for Facebook to get into it. The Hey Portal. I don't know that I necessarily like the name. I'd probably want to change it to, although, starting with a P, I think that's, the best letter there is in the alphabet. It'd be good if they, pick something else. Because Portal, I'm not so sure about that. But it's interesting that they're saying that they're not going to show Facebook ads on the portal, but there's certainly going to be some third-party apps that have ads. So I think that's an interesting move here on their part, because they do the same thing.
Have to. I mean, if they started putting ads on here, no one would buy it. It's the same thing whenever they launch anything new, right? You got to keep the ad space off until users have adopted it. And then obviously, I'm sure at some point we'll start seeing like the lower third banners and things like that showing up with some sort of advertising, or you'll have to do like a paid subscription to avoid the ads. I mean, that's, I think, an inevitable, pay to play type membership that gets you ad free and bonus features, and you pay $9.99 a month for it or whatever it is.
Yeah. I see this going into Facebook at work too, right? To your point that you made earlier.
That would make a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah, so totally killer app for Facebook at work for those, again, that have remote teams. It's a great opportunity for that. Just some really good stuff.
And I think, the other thing, so when I look at this design, here's what I see other companies doing. So, for example, if I'm Amazon or I'm Apple or I'm Google, I think Google still has tablets out. What I see is having essentially a dock that has a camera on it, because then you could essentially plug in your existing iPad and have the camera, for instance, automatically start up, and it becomes essentially a Facebook portal. That's what I could see them probably doing if they want to tap into their user base. And you're actually selling, you could potentially sell 2 different devices to users, just the tablet and, hey, you want the camera accessory. Here's an augmented reality feature.
Yeah, so. I wonder about that, though, because what makes this special is the software, remember, not the camera itself.
Right.
So the software, I don't know that they're going to want to load it on Google's device or Microsoft's device or Apple's device, because then it's available to be reverse engineered.
No, I see, but that's what I see, like Apple or Amazon. That's probably the device I see them coming out with.
Sure.
But to compete with this. The other thing also, so, this is the other thing I think that is really key to this also is, it's not the pricing. It's not the $199 for Facebook Portal and $349 for Facebook Portal Plus. It's the fact that, hey, you also get a $100 discount if you buy 2 devices. So you talked about it earlier. You buy one for your parents, you have one for yourself. You have one for work, for instance, you buy multiple ones, you're saving additional money and you're getting what I think would be a good productivity tool and a great way to stay.
It's really inevitable, right? I mean, it's like you can't, like I have, a Galaxy, an Android, and if somebody else has an iPhone, we can't FaceTime, we can't video chat because they're different devices. So you can't buy a Portal and have nobody to talk to. I mean, obviously a year from now, when let's say half the population owns one of these things in their houses, well, then you can buy one. But for right now, you have to buy 2 if you want to talk to somebody. Right. So the incentive to say, oh, you save money if you buy 2 is essentially just rewarding you for the fact that you have to buy 2.
Right. Exactly.
Well, yeah. And it does aid in adoption, right? Because now I buy one and Jen, I send you the other one. And now, now we're connected and now I know you'll use it because at least you have one friend that has it. So
I like this. I like the idea of this. I think it's going to be a very useful tool. Are you going to get, so let's ask this question real quick. Jen, are you going to be buying any of these? Are you holding off for version 2?
No. Yeah. She's like, yeah. But yeah, honestly, I think that the Portal's something I would actually look into. Like, I'm not big on the whole, like the Google Homes and the Echoes and the Dots and those things, just because I don't need one of those. But this is different to me. This is something where I can have those conversations with family and friends in a way that's, hands-free. I don't have to worry about, okay, let me get the tripod and let me stand this up over here and let me hold my phone and let me, this is like just put it up in whatever room you're in and it just works with you. So this is one I wouldn't say yes right now, but I would definitely consider it.
Okay. Phil, what about you?
So no, I'm not getting one yet. But I'm thinking in February, I might look at it. My dad's birthday's in February. Dad, as he gets older, we've talked about that, which means I'll also have to buy one for my brothers and their kids because my brothers are not real technically savvy. That's my job. I'm the nerd in the family. So likely what's going to happen is I'm going to end up buying 4 of them in February. That's my guess.
Okay.
Which means then I got to buy one for mom too, which means I got to get 5. So great. There goes $1,750. Thanks, Christian. What about you, man? Are you getting one?
I'm not going to get one on version 1. I do like to see how these things kind of develop. I'm usually an early adopter of most things. But again, kind of to Jen's point, you have to have more than one person that has this. Essentially it's kind of useless at that point if you want to tap into a lot of the features. So I would wait till version 2, sometimes maybe even version 3. It depends what their rollout schedule is going to be. With this, I mean, by the way, they do have a feature. I was looking here, Jen. They have a feature called Story Time, so you can bring bedtime stories to life with augmented reality.
Dude, I saw that. I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, it'll change your voice when you read the different characters and stuff. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like, especially if like you're traveling or if you don't live with your kid 100% of the time and you want to do story time on the nights you're not with your kid, or like I said, if you're traveling or for grandparents with the grandkids, like. There's definitely some cool things that I can see this, figuring out, from some fun ways to do it. But even to your point about, the different versions, the Oculus, when they came out with that and they gave everybody the Oculus and then like 6 months later, they're like, oh, here's 2.0. And it's like, so now this one's already essentially outdated. And that's my consideration about the whole, like, I don't want to get one yet because I'm sure there's going to be new versions of this in the near future that will have more features and functionality. And of course they'll be more expensive, but it's fun to be an early adopter. I kind of want to wait and see where they go with the technology and like I said, what the next iterations of the technology look like.
Definitely. And the other thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Phil. Sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say though, I wonder if the hardware though is going to be the upgrade. I think what's going to upgrade is the software. And I really think the hardware is going to stay more stable. I mean, I think about the Apple purposely doesn't rev phones all that often. Yeah. Because they don't want to tip people off. But I get 8, it feels like I get, 6 to 8 OS upgrades, Well, the portal's probably going to, do the same thing because it's all over the air. You turn it on, it does a quick update. The other thing on there is it has to really have that self-contained internet. So it's got to be 4G because, again, my dad lives otherwise, then I got to get him internet and email and a Facebook account. And it's like going to be like, no, dude, that doesn't play.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it works out. I think the other thing with this is, there's no mention about Facebook Live. And I think that this could be a very useful tool to have for Facebook Live if it were to integrate that, to be able to overlay the augmented reality portions, to be able to, for instance, maybe have it have it follow people on camera. That way, we don't have to sit in front of our desks, for example, or try to, get that mobile phone just right.
I would love to see that integration for live. Even just thinking about the people who are either like fashion bloggers or food bloggers, like if you're in your kitchen cooking and you're back and forth between different counters and the sink, and you're doing things, to have it move with you and not have the tripod set up like 7 feet away, so that you can get the whole kitchen in view, but to be able to have something like this, or in a fashion type thing where you can literally be moving and walking around and showing, the fashion and sitting in it and standing it and having it track you. Oh my gosh, that would take live video to a whole new level if they would allow that integration.
Definitely. And the other part to it, which with that would be, you don't have to have another cameraman. You don't have to be, stopping every, take and, setting up for a different shot. It would be able to, like you said, it does it with voice. Why not do it with, hey, it's smart enough to figure out what I'm actually doing and zoom in on, for instance, the clothing or the food or whatever it is I'm doing. So I love the idea of this, actually. So
cool.
So sticking with Portal, Phil, do you want to touch on the privacy and the ads part of that, or do you think we kind of covered that?
I think we kind of covered that. I think we're at minute 28 here, so we should probably move on and talk a little about LinkedIn. Let's talk about the LinkedIn company pages, because this is the most significant update LinkedIn has released in a very long time. The company pages in the past have been so dormant. And now that they're giving more credence to it, which it's about time, now I think company pages are going to have some value, which before it was just, hey, make sure you have one because you need to add your logo. And now it's got some value. I'm hoping they also prioritize it in the algorithm more so that it actually is something useful instead of just one more place that people maybe never search for. What do you think, Jen?
I mean, I'm actually really excited about this. So kind of like to your point, like LinkedIn's always, no offense to the LinkedIn experts out there, the people who use LinkedIn every day, trust me, I love it, but it's kind of boring. Like it doesn't have the excitement factor that you get with the types of integration and content that you get on the Facebooks and the Instagrams and even on Twitter. And I think that, one of the things that it was the biggest thing for me on Instagram was when they added those call to action buttons. And Facebook has done a lot with those call to action buttons on the Facebook pages and in Facebook groups to say, sign up now or get more information or visit group. So for the pages to be adding in those sorts of the new customizable buttons, to contact us or register or visit the website, and having all of those sorts of things that's that conversion. That's that action item that we need as businesses to make our accounts work for us. I think for me, that right there is one of the biggest exciting features that I'm looking forward to. And even just the new recommended, oh no, she's dropping pens. The recommended, they have that. They're doing it with, I can't remember, do they call it recommended content or suggested content? Which, I mean, the average one of us probably doesn't need to be recommended content, but most businesses do. Like, most businesses don't know what to post. Like, we know the first thing people usually ask us is, what should I post? So to have that feature built in now, to be able to say, here's some recommendations. Here's some things you should try. You haven't posted video in a while. Why don't you post a video? And those sorts of things, I think it will be significantly helpful. Unfortunately, I feel like LinkedIn is always, 2 years behind the curve with things. And I feel like this is just slowly catching up to Facebook circa 2016. But at least they're catching up, and at least they're doing things that are proven on other platforms. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope they work out well.
Yeah, cool. What about
I had noticed, LinkedIn has been doing the whole thing of, kind of the wait and see approach, kind of the whole like, do I cross the river and let the alligators eat me, or do I let the alligators eat somebody else and then I come across afterwards? So LinkedIn's kind of been doing that. I think this is a good update for them. I think the other feature I like with this is they have a share with employees option that will let your page admin post content like to an employee's feed. Mm-hmm. That part I also like because, a lot of companies, they run a blog or a lot of companies, they go the old school route, which is let me just email everything. And they assume, oh, hey, my employees, they value our company and they really are invested in it, even though most of the time they're not. And in this case, what they're doing here is, they're going to have a place for employees to be able to go and to get this information. I think that's very useful because you aren't going to have to, do multiple tasks to notify your employees about things or tell them, oh, hey,
they're going to be more likely to share it too. So, I mean, it's one of those things where like, if I don't log into LinkedIn and I don't see that my company posted something, I'm not going to share it. I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to interact with it. But if I get that shared to me in a way that I am more likely to see it, interact with it, and then be like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, my company's doing this big thing, or we're running a charity event. Oh, we just, launched a new product, whatever it is, I'm more likely to share it because now I'm guaranteed to see it. And it's that trigger point for me. So I think it for that kind of reach and exposure for businesses will be a really good tool.
Absolutely. Phil, anything you want to add on this one?
So the one thing I want to add is that they also announced that they'll finally be able to be shared content from the mobile. This has been the number one complaint that so many people have had because so many people are mobile only, not just mobile first, but mobile only. And, if you can't share content, well, you might as well not even have LinkedIn if you're a marketer, right? I mean, that's the challenge. So I think this is fantastic. It's about time. And I am excited to see what happens as a result of this because I'm going to guess this isn't the last move that LinkedIn makes. They fixed groups in August, and by fixed, I mean they enhanced it. It isn't perfect, but it's better. Now they're talking about company pages. My guess, especially because now they're kind of removing the tools from the personal profiles and then moving into the business page, we're going to see real-time humans again on LinkedIn. And something that isn't in this article, but y'all should know about is LinkedIn has also announced that you cannot have an engagement pod on LinkedIn. So they're really
nice.
Yeah. Andy Foote announced that this week because he asked them a question about it. And I really think this is the return of the real-time LinkedIners. And I'm excited.
By the way, I'm so excited as well about that. Another feature they're also going to be adding that I thought was very useful is they're also going to be working with Hootsuite. So they're going to have some integration there as well. So that way, if people get notifications,
can I just say this is one of those like the dinosaurs supporting the dinosaurs? Like Hootsuite doesn't have the integration and the functionality that all the other dashboard tools have. And I recommend Hootsuite.
True, very true.
Hootsuite is easy if that's what you're looking for. But it doesn't have it's not robust like a lot of the other tools. No. They're having like interface issues that, it's just kind of like, we're talking the green room like Evernote. Like I kind of feel like Hootsuite's going that direction. It's one of those things I'm like, really, of all the tools you decide to integrate with Hootsuite, like, come on.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. So with that, the reason I kind of mentioned that is because I could see, for instance, LinkedIn making an acquire there, for instance, at some point, get it off the table. Again, you're bringing in the customers. That's another way for LinkedIn to get more people on their platform. I've said this for years. I think LinkedIn and Pinterest are like just, like the dark horses here in social media. A lot of people, they gave up on LinkedIn. They said, oh, hey, LinkedIn's dying. And then all of a sudden now they're, rising from the ashes and like doing some amazing things. Pinterest, same way. A lot of people, they write Pinterest off. Oh, who uses Pinterest? And yet Pinterest is adding a lot of features as well. They're now doing some AI stuff with shopping, to kind of make it easier for you to sell your products, but also to identify the product that you want. and get to it faster. So I love these aspects. But to your point, yes, I do think kind of, they're kind of,
yeah.
So. Yeah, you stole my move there, Christian.
Sorry,
no, don't be sorry. No, I think that's smart, right? And that, I really do believe that LinkedIn and Microsoft buy Hootsuite. And it makes sense because here's the thing. Hootsuite, remember this, Hootsuite still has Firehose access to Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that. Even
and
though
it costs them a lot of money as well.
And it's a lot. Yep. And it's very expensive. That being said, LinkedIn is always allowed that touch with Twitter.
Yeah.
I really think you combine that, they can make some moves. And then it wouldn't surprise me if next year LinkedIn buys Twitter. Microsoft buys Twitter. So they take both of these tools. They leave Twitter for real-time news updates because that's where business is. LinkedIn, again, has always been for business. You merge the two, and they have got then the strongest business platform for any social network. And they stay B2B, and then they say, Facebook, you go play with yourself in the corner because you can you can go to the B2C space because, frankly, Microsoft doesn't care about consumers like Facebook does, right? And I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean that's never been
anybody
the
who's
focus.
ever bought a Microsoft product knows that that's the truth.
Right? So I think if, again, we look at 18 months, we could see both of these tools, both of these companies gobbled up by Microsoft. You hear to hear on 11:15 on the Social
Chatter
show.
165. Yes,
That's
absolutely. By the way, I like the idea. I didn't even think about the Twitter angle there. I like the Twitter angle as well. That's nice. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and Facebook gets Snapchat for free. Is that what's going to happen?
No, Facebook. No, I think Snapchat just disappears because Facebook has already stolen all their best features. I think Snapchat just dies on the vine. Ha ha.
Do you think
Vine?
Yeah. By the way, speaking of it, isn't Vine? I think Vine's coming out with a new version sometime next year.
It's like Vine 2.0. What's it? It's like I don't want to say like Spark. I can't remember what it is, but there is. It's exactly like Vine 2.0. It's the same like 6-7 second or whatever video clips, and they're like literally like if you miss Vine, come on. Like I was like seriously.
Who's going to come back? It's gone. That's done. I mean, there's no way you could come back with Vine 2.0 unless it's something like just absolutely amazing.
Vine or something too. Like it's like literally the exact same thing. I'm like,
you mean Boomerang, right? That's
exactly.
all
It's Boomerang.
It's Boomerang.
Yeah.
Right. Or it turns into a GIF or a GIF, if you will, right?
Jiffy, Instagram. Yeah. There we go.
Yep. So I think that's ridiculous. That's my opinion. So
where do you want to go next, Phil?
Well, we got one more, right? One more Microsoft LinkedIn move here, and that is LinkedIn bought Glint. Now, Glint, I got to tell you, I'm just going to be honest. Never heard of these guys before, but here's the cool thing. They offer employment information to set up workflows based on AI, which now will provide, what I'm going to guess in the next 3 months, it's going to be a recruiting chatbot on LinkedIn in Messenger.
That would actually be pretty darn cool.
Yep. I mean, $400 million. They don't make these acquisitions lightly. This is a big investment, $400 million for a company. I mean, I think
no one's ever heard of. Like, I need a company to buy me for $400 million. You never heard of me? Okay, buy me.
Right. So I think this is great. I really see an AI chatbot coming soon. Which also tells me because they're going to put in recruiter first. This is for recruiting, but it's going to turn into another great sales play and a marketing play, right? Because now you can say, oh, hey, I want to see your PDF, right? I'm going to drive you to Point Drive. So you sign up. You can watch a demo, right? Which is one of the new calls to action. I think these two combined, holy crap, this makes LinkedIn so much more Facebook-like. And I mean that in a positive way. That now they have some tools. I don't know, Jen, what are you thinking? I know you didn't hear about, you haven't heard about Glint either.
No, I didn't hear about this until you guys shared the article with me. And, and it's one of those things where I started thinking about it from the perspective, kind of like you were thinking about with like the AI chatbot kind of integration. But I'm thinking about it as they want to go up against like the Glassdoors and all the recruiting sites out there that are making big plays right now. It's something that, again, people are using LinkedIn. So if they can build this up in a way that it competes with something like a Glassdoor, they win. Because Glassdoor is someplace you have to go externally. But if people are already on LinkedIn and if you've ever dealt with a LinkedIn ads rep trying to get to sell you recruiting ads, oh my God, they are tenacious and they are expensive. Recruiting ads on LinkedIn are crazy expensive. So if they can have this type of integration, this type of, software and that AI, and if they can set them apart in a way that now they're like, well, okay, yeah, I'll pay that money for recruiting ads because I'm going to get this kind of return. I'm going to get the top quality candidates. I see it from that perspective as a competition. But yeah, I hadn't really thought about it from the other kind of components that you talked about, but I definitely think this is interesting in terms of where it could go. And I think they probably have things thought of that maybe we aren't even thinking about.
I like the AI play on this, making a chatbot off of this, especially for recruiters. The other thing also with LinkedIn is like right now, you get a message from a recruiter and, typically you don't either go check it and it sits there for a while, or it's just totally not related to like what your background is. Now imagine having a chatbot that's powered by AI that can quickly surface a candidate for a job. I mean, to me, that would be just amazing to be able to have it where like, hey, immediately somebody says, hey, I'm looking for a new opportunity. All of a sudden those chatbots go to work and they find you something new, or they find you an opportunity that could very well work based on your qualifications. It's still going to, here's the thing. A lot of people say like, oh, SEO is dead. People don't blog, all that sort of stuff. I'm saying that, and I bring that up because it's still really important. Doesn't matter if it's your social profiles, your blog, whatever, you need to be putting in the proper keywords. You need to be optimizing your content. Yeah. Doesn't matter if you think that people aren't going to like read it. It's going to be there for people to be able to, crawl and surface opportunities, I think. So
yeah. Good points. Really
what do you think this is going to do, by the way, for the recruiter? So the person who is actually, currently has a job, what do you think is going to happen there?
Well, they get to do more high value stuff. Yeah, I really think again,
such as
just like, so their big thing is they got to build relationships, not answer stupid questions. Okay. So you can write once, share many. Like, what's the rate for a level 2 graphic designer that we want to work for 27 hours a week for my company, right? Mm-hmm. Are you an existing customer or are you not? Well, if you're an existing customer, it's $81 an hour. If you're not, it's $93. Okay, well, I need to look that up if I'm a recruiter. Because you can't rely on your memory because it might change. No. But you could program that in every morning. You program in the new rates. That would be one thing. Like, who's starting work today? So now a recruiting manager could ask that question. Like, oh, so Jen starts at this company at 9 o'clock. Christian's at 10. Phil's at 3. Here's the companies, right? I mean, I really think those are the lower value things. The high value, again, it's relationship, man. It's the questions that you can't guess at the answer to. That's higher value. And that really, I think that is where we go with this.
So the other aspect to this that I think, is important to kind of highlight here is how many times have you, applied for a job and you've gone to an interview and, the person thought they're like, hey, you got your qualifications. They tried to match it up to like what the company wants. And then you're being interviewed by somebody who's not even in that space that has no clue about it. For example, you're applying for a social media marketing position and you're being interviewed by, somebody else in another like department that, hey, they're only there.
Like human resources or accounting is interviewing for a marketing position. Yeah.
They were only on the list, so that's where like, I think that this, if this moves into what we think it moves into, the AI and the chatbot side of things, I think this would also be fantastic because it removes the human element of a job interview, and being interviewed by people that really don't even know anything about the job that they're interviewing somebody for. They're kind of just going through the motions. I think this would, this will help strengthen and bolster, obviously bolster bolster your HR departments. You're going to have people where like, hey, somebody says, I want to find this person. All they have, they're going to be essentially, I think, almost the operator, like, the person, let me put all these instructions in and let the system do its thing. Yeah. That's where I think that the recruiter is going to be even more valuable, I think.
I agree. I think from a recruiting standpoint, to be able to say, I need somebody who has, these 10 criteria, Send me all candidates that match 70% of these 10 criteria. And then you're not sitting there as a human being having to scroll through keywords and local
What does this mean?
and all of these things. The AI is going to come back and say, okay, here are the 63 candidates that meet the criteria, which one includes like a geographical area if necessary, or, all these different things. And then from those 63, now you read those and say, okay, of that, these 12 are an automatic no, they don't really meet the right criteria, but now instead of wasting hours of your time trying to pull what looks like good candidates and sending out these I get emails every day from somebody on LinkedIn being like, hey, I saw your profile and we're hiring for this position. And I'm like, dude, no, like, what? Are you kidding me? So to have something that takes out a lot of that, middle ground of the just kind of, shooting emails out to anybody that meets one or two criteria, but having a system that is automated, that AI that's going to read all those profiles, make those best assumptions, recruiters will have much better success with better candidates being approached and probably get better responses to those approaches too, because they can actually personalize the approach rather than doing a copy and paste email to everybody that matches a couple keywords.
Yeah. Well, also think about skills on LinkedIn. The whole skills thing, right? So now we're going to weigh skills, and it's, again, we need some AI there, because here's the thing. It's nice that, for instance, I think I'm endorsed, like one of my skills is like 683 people. I mean, that's really nice, but I'm just going to be honest. Like, I've probably worked with like 15 of them.
Yeah.
Well, so that's not as valuable, maybe. Right. And I say maybe because I don't know, right? But maybe it's not as valuable as Christian, who only has 47 on that same exact skill, but 41 of them he actually worked with.
Right.
That's,
and then imagine,
so we have to do some weight.
And then imagine, like using the AI, if it could go out there and, it can say, hey, 41 out of 47 people, he's actually worked with, it also uses the data from, say, your website, what kind of testimonials are out there, or their YouTube videos, for example, talking about customers talking about you, things that the AI piece can handle versus, the person having to kind of piece together this patchwork quilt here of, well, this person says they do this and, well, there's nothing really to support it and that type of thing. So I think this is going to be a good move. Very good move. Even though we don't know much about Glint, lots of opportunity here, I think.
Yep, so, totally agree.
So Phil, where do you want to go?
Well, I think it's tool time, buddy. It's tool time. But we got to remind folks, hey, so we've got a couple other things that we didn't get a chance to cover tonight. So I want to encourage folks, if you're listening, if you're watching, go to socialchefs.com/daily to get in your email the recap from this and all sorts of great stuff. Christian puts this together just for you folks. It's socialchefs.com/daily to get your email from us. So tool time. It
is tool time. So Jen, so I know we didn't talk much about Instagram today. We do have an Instagram tool for everyone this week. But so what I want to do first tool I'm going to bring up, it's a tool called Exitbar. So what this does, pretty simple. It's a way for you to have content that you want to show your audience pop up on the website for them as they're getting ready to go and leave their website. This is, it's a way for you to add calls to action, basically, to anything that, anything that you want to share on a website. Have you happened to use this? Have you tried this out yet?
I haven't, but and you have to understand, I'm one of these people who I love my website. I love my blog. Man, it is like, I need like 4 of me. Like no one has enough hours.
Too much work.
Right? So it's like, I have all these grandiose plans and I'm like, I'm going to install these things and I'm going to do these things. This is actually one of the things I wanted to do is because I hate pop-ups. I honestly hate pop-ups. And I hate when they pop up the moment you get on the site or they pop up in the middle of an article.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in the middle of something. Don't bug me. But I love the exit pop-ups because at that point, they're done with what they're doing. most of the time.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's because you're going to leave to go check another browser or copy something and you're not really ready to leave. But in general, at that point, they're ready to go. So they've either read the article or they've seen what they needed to see, watched a video, navigated through some pages, and now they have that, oh, hey, by the way, sign up for the email newsletter, or make sure you grab this free download, or answer this quick question, or whatever it is. This is something, when you shared this link with me, I was like, ooh, I need this. I haven't had time to install it or do anything with it. But this is one I actually do want to look into. And I was like, this actually, I mean, and you have to understand too, like, I always joke I'm the one click Jen. Like, if I have to push 2 buttons to make things happen, I don't use it, which is why I like Instagram Live. It's like 1 button, done. So this was like, I'm like, this is kind of like a one-click solution. Like, it looks like it's a really simple integration. It looks like it's a relatively user-friendly tool, which makes someone like me nice and happy. So this is actually one I want to try out.
You know, and basically, here's the thing. This is it's free to use. So they do say it's free. They do say that, if you want like custom plans for like API access, that sort of stuff, you can contact them. And then the other thing you have to remember, because it's, free, they do say that 1% of the generated traffic is going to go towards a button that they want to display, like, something they want to display on your site. Not a big deal. I'm fine with that. What do you think? Are you okay with that, Jen? That aspect?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where there has to be evaluation, right? So it's, if they're giving you something for free, you're going to give it up. If you don't want that option, if you have a website where you want 100% of those conversions, then you're going to have to pay for it. And I think the free is that's a fun way to try it out and say, does this work? Yep. Do I see the conversions? Because that's one of the biggest things, right? I mean, it's like the worst sales pitch in the world where it's like, oh, we have all these things and you can do all these things. And then you go buy it and then you're like, it didn't work for me, because that's not how your audience digests the content, or that's not how they want to interact with things. So to have the free option with that, minimal, we may or we reserve the right or whatever it is. I think it's worth it. Try it out. If you feel like you're getting the conversions and it is worth it for you, and then you decide you want it, then you go and pay for it, because now you tested it out. And this way you're not stuck on the 2-week trial, right? Because this is one of those things that a 2-week trial is not going to show you results. This is something you need to measure over months of time, over multiple campaigns, over, all your, different seasonal content and all these sort of things, that a 2-week trial on this isn't going to tell you if it works. So yeah, free, take that 1%, do what you got to do. You prove to me that this works, and then I will buy it so that I can have 100% of that.
Exactly. And here, this is how easy it is to install. I mean, it's a simple page. Create a link. You select the type of pop-up you want, whether it's a pop-up, a banner, a shopping cart. We put in our message. We put in our description. Again, it comes down to the calls to action. We put in an image URL where we want people to be taken to, what the content's supposed to be, and then, how we want it to actually appear. Do we want to just, scale in? Do we want it to blur in? What's the location on your website? What's the button text, for example, click here, shop now, that type of thing, and then submit. Very simple. And then they're going to give you some code. That's it. Nothing, not any more complicated than that. So, Phil, what do you think? Any feedback on this one?
Well, I like the simplicity too, Jen. Christian, I think I like simple. Simple is good. I'm curious how much load time this adds to my page. I would probably test this out on maybe the, top 5 articles that I have to see and try to put it in there to drive them to sign up for my newsletter. I'd probably delay it, if it's probably delay 30 seconds, maybe 90 seconds on that, because frankly, popping up too soon is a great way to tick people off.
Right.
But yeah, I'll probably play with it too. I mean, if it leads to a few more conversions, I think it's great. In fact, Christian, we should add how to sign up for the newsletter on this week's episode, so that people can see what this looks like in action.
Definitely. And speaking of, by the way, the other thing you want to make sure you do if you test this out is set up what's called a UTM parameter. This goes into Google Analytics on your website. Basically, the reason I would suggest this, to Jen's point, you have to test out the software. What you could do is you could create one specific URL that goes into this Exitbar tool, and then check your analytics out to see, am I driving more traffic to that one article through the Exitbar, or am I driving it directly to the content, whether it's through search or people finding my site. So that way you can make sure you know exactly which one is driving the best results.
Yep.
So tool number 2 for the week is a tool called Linktree. And
Jen,
Linktree is, yeah.
Yeah, Jen, this has got to be you, right? You got to be using this tool here.
I don't actually use it. I know a lot of people that do. I've referred clients to use it. So for those who don't know what Linktree is, it's designed for Instagram, where you only have one clickable link on the profile. You can't link dump on Instagram. So Linktree allows you to create multiple links essentially out of one, like a tree. So you have that, you put your Linktree link on your bio on Instagram. And when you go to that link, you get multiple buttons that relate to the different content that you have. So you can say, click on the link in my bio, but there can be one of the buttons is for your blog. One of the buttons is for your e-course. One of them is, for, booking a consultation with you. One of them is for a different product line or those sorts of things. So you can have different options in there that you can just say, click on the link in my bio, but it's always going to give multiple options in that link. So it is beneficial. To be honest, it's something that a lot of people use, but it went down a few months ago and everyone was freaking out about it. There's, API concerns and restrictions that you always have when you use a third tool. So one of the things, not to totally knock Linktree, but that I've been recommending for my clients to do is instead I say, build a custom landing page on your website. And that landing page is where the link in your bio goes to. And on that landing page, you put content that matches what you have on Instagram. So if you post something that says, here's my latest blog post, you take that photo, you put that on that landing page, and that photo goes to that specific blog post. If you've got, product announcements, you have the photo that you took on Instagram, you put that photo on that landing page, and that photo links to that product page. So what happens is when they leave Instagram and go to that one specific link, they go to they're on your website. So now you can track all that traffic. You know how they're going. Your Google Analytics are showing you those conversions and you're tracking all that data. And then they can just go and say, oh, I just saw that photo. So I'm going to go and click on that photo and end up on exactly the information I want. It takes a little bit of, design integration and the right build for that page on your site. And then you have to update it, right? So if you post on Instagram, you have to be prepared to go over and update your landing page with that new piece of content. So it takes some work to do, but I think in general, that's a better way to track things. But for those one-click people like me, Linktree is a super easy solution where you can essentially have multiple things linked to one potential link on Instagram.
Yeah, and so actually I have a demo up right now. This is Linktree on an Instagram profile. What this is going to do is it's going to pull up that landing page that Jen mentioned. In this case, we're linking to, some basic stuff. We've got a contact page. We've got a couple other programs that we run, as well as our blog, but obviously you can add services or anything else you want. And speaking to your other point about different, adding your own landing page, I also dropped a link in as well that I wrote an article a while back on 5 different ways people could add multiple links to their Instagram bio. And that includes a couple of landing page tools, some which you actually may be already paying for as a user on your site. So definitely check those out. So that does, and by the way, Linktree, cost of Linktree is
$6 whole.
It's relatively, $6. I was thinking like it was like $5, but yeah, $6. So it's not like this is an expensive tool.
No, and you can try it for free. $0, try it for free. See how it works, and then if you want more customization, pay the $6 or consider some of the other options. But very good
stuff,
very good tools. So
good.
So. What else? Anything else you want to cover tonight, Phil?
Well, I don't know that we need to cover anything else, man. You got a lot of stuff coming in the recap. They go to socialshelves.com/daily. We've got a couple Snapchat updates that are going to be in there for you. But what I do want to say is a big thank you to Jen for spending the night with us. We're so glad
Thank you
you're
very
here,
much, Jen.
Where do people get more of your awesome so they can connect with you, dear?
So I am everywhere as Jen's Trends, Jen with 2 N's. So Instagram, Jen's_trends. Same thing on Twitter. I got a Facebook group, Jen's Trends in social media. The website is jenstrends.com. And I also have a super awesome membership program called 360 Marketing Squad, which is myself and 3 other super amazing people, Mike Alton, Stephanie Liu, and Amanda Robinson. And the 4 of us are your 360 degrees of marketing solution. And it's a membership program for $5 a month. That's it. So it's super affordable. You get tons of like really fun things, live trainings, resources, and downloads. So that is my big thing right now, is the 360 Marketing Squad, which is literally 360marketingsquad.com.
Cool. So do we get a T-shirt with that, or do we get, because I've got some squad goals, and I'm thinking,
right?
That might help.
We were talking about getting actually. So we've talked about for social media marketing world, because last year we ended up, one of the guys who was hanging with me called it the hashtag Gentourage. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting everybody bedazzled shirts that say hashtag Gentourage. So now with 360, we're like, well, now we need shirts that are bedazzled with hashtag squad goals. So we're going to have a different shirt for every single day of the week, because we just keep adding all these ideas.
Awesome. Well, don't forget hashtag social chatter. If you want to follow along with the conversation, Jen, you can, you can share that out too, but we're hopeful that folks do check out your squad. Good stuff there. And we're always grateful to see you and spend some time with you. And please give your daughter a hug for us and thank her for being a good kid while we're
she's over here. I got Mickeys and Minnies going over here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Jen. We really appreciate it. We'll have a blog post recap out for you tomorrow, as well as the YouTube video for those of you who want to check that out as well. But thank you, Jen. For those of you, next week it's Thanksgiving back in the States, so we're not going to have a live show. We'll pick it up the following week with Vincent Orlick. That will be the 29th of November. But we will see you all later. Have a great evening. Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.